Now it's our featured guest, and we normally have a featured guest. Today we have three of them, and what a pleasure this is. Please welcome, help me welcome the following panel of executives involved in the transformation of downtown Mesa. From the Downtown Mesa Association, Mr. David Short. From Sunbelt Holdings, Justin Graham. And from 3W Management, Mr. Tony Wall. Come on up, gentlemen. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to have you here.
Morning.
Come on in. Look.
Morning.
I'll sit on
The hot seat.
They're all jockeying for position. Thank you. Good to have you gentlemen here. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, David, let's kick off with you. You've been on the ground in downtown Mesa for some time. What changes have you seen, and what changes can we look for in the near future?
Well, we are very excited about the changes we're going to see in the future. I've been here 8 years now. My first 3 were light rail construction, which was putting the parts in place for what's to come now, and what Caliber's doing, the new projects, new market rate residential. I think the city's mentioned 1,500 units in the future that are going to come downtown, the new retail space, and then what Caliber's doing with the existing historic buildings, activating those, you know, everyone in Mesa to come enjoy downtown and what it used to be and what it will be in the future. It's exciting.
Well, Tony and Justin, talk to us a little bit about what attracted you to opportunities in downtown Mesa.
Well, I think Mesa makes a lot of strong statements just demographically to develop a community. And when we began our research and our due diligence, it became very clear that the demographics made sense to us. But further, I think the business-friendly climate, development-friendly climate that we've encountered and the support from the city has been what put us over the top.
That's great. You know what, maybe it would be beneficial, very briefly, let's go down the line. Give us a little, what's your background and how do you come at this? Where is your history?
I grew up in a family construction business. My grandfather told me never to go into the business. I went into education because I loved children and wanted to coach football, and I quickly began building schools, and $1 billion worth of schools later, we were a private entity here in Arizona. We're based in Ohio. We are Ohio State football fans. There are probably 10 or 20 in the audience right now. But that's an important part of us.
Or maybe you're alone.
I-O.
There you go.
See, they're right there.
There you go. Buckeyes. And Justin?
Yeah, so at Sunbelt Holdings, my background is as real estate and as a former real estate attorney, but I'm a project manager with Sunbelt Holdings now. We have the former AutoNation Brown & Brown car dealership site just east of the Mesa Arts Center. And Sunbelt historically was a master plan developer throughout the Southwest, but over the last more or less decade have made a move towards more urban infill. And so we approached this as a really great opportunity after our experience in downtown Phoenix and in Mesa, Marina Heights along the waterfront there. There was something unique about Mesa in that it was a really interesting opportunity for urban redevelopment where there's all these parties at once who are really committed not only to a vision of Mesa, but towards working together, which is something we have never really experienced in any other market we've worked in. So.
All right, and David?
I've run and managed downtowns for the last 20 years. I was in Fort Collins, Colorado previous to here, and I saw the potential that was coming in Mesa. And so we run the business improvement district for downtown, do maintenance, marketing, events, and run the parking in downtown.
So getting back to you, Tony, what projects are you involved in now? What's happening?
We're working on the grid, which is on Main Street and Pomeroy at the intersection of Mesa Drive and Main Street. The grid is an opportunity for us to build on top of and around an underutilized parking garage, which has been in place since 1985. It's a concrete monstrosity that will take advantage of its strength and build above and around and on an adjacent parking lot adjacent to Benedictine University. We'll include nearly 200 market rate apartments, some flats and micro units, in addition to some row homes and office and retail space, a true mixed use project.
You know, last month we had a gentleman on that was talking about the future of transportation and how it's changing everything. So when you mentioned mixed use, I mean, that's a huge looking forward That's huge. Justin, what's Sunbelt involved with right now?
So on our site, which is more or less 10 acres, the former AutoNation, is being designed as a truly maybe even more mixed use than anything we've ever done before. It'll have multifamily components, office, retail, and at this point, most likely a hotel component as well, all on that site, integrated in a pedestrian, transit-oriented manner.
And what's the physical location of that site?
It's just east of the Mesa Arts Center on what today has, after the remediation and demolition, is essentially a surface parking lot.
Wow. And what kind of time frame are we looking at on these projects?
We hope to break ground in the next 45 days.
Oh, wow. Okay. There you go. And you mentioned Mesa being very business friendly. Are they working with you to try and make these things happen in a timely fashion? I hear so many horror stories around the country of, especially, let's pick on California, where you can't even get a permit to do anything. It takes forever to just break ground, and people are saying, forget it, let's go build in Mesa.
No, it's a different scenario for us, and a city that, you know, I think in a few years when we look back at the case study of this project, you'll see this underutilized garage, and the city was wise enough to accept our idea of could we build on it, around it, and the city's been very supportive. And the opportunity to work directly with staff and working through design-related issues has been very positive for us.
That's great. Has Mayor Giles been an asset in this?
He has been, because we can talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he supports our work in downtown. His greater vision of downtown, which is very education-based, drives much of what we believe in. And the opportunities to add to that education base, which really is what creates a sustainable city, is a great strength for Mesa.
Well, we're a big fan of Mayor Giles here at Mesa Morning Live. You probably don't know this, but a lot of times when I'm on the road and can't be here, he fills in for me doing this. So there is talk of me filling in for the mayor. What do you think? Don't you think that would be awesome? So if at any point
You might want to reconsider.
Well, if at any point you have some paperwork that needs to, and he's
That's great. I have
come in when I'm mayor for the day, and I'll just rubber stamp this whole thing. Well, that's cool. And Justin, any kind of time frame on you?
So ours will be probably a phased project, but we are already starting to take the first portion of it to market and been talking to buyers as we speak. So
This is kind of open to all of you. If I had a crystal ball here and we could look out to 2025, what would you like to see? And the second part of the question is, what is realistic for the look of Mesa in conjunction with, on its own and also integrated with the Valley? That is the most complicated question I've ever had. but you know where I'm going with this. What do you see down the road?
Well, I see a lot of body heat coming to downtown. There are going to be new families, new residents in downtown, and it's been 30 plus years since there's been a new housing opportunity, you know, within that downtown mile. So here's that new opportunity, and the projects that Justin's working on and that we're working on will bring new residents. Those residents then are going to be looking for entertainment and opportunities, and we have an opportunity to blend the existing with some new entertainment opportunities that will just be created a very dynamic place. You tie that back again to the educational piece, and with ASU coming along, which will be additive to what's already here, the work that's happening at Benedictine and the tremendous impact they've had on downtown is certainly a very strong statement.
And this is just a suggestion to all of you. As you build Mesa, put a lot of outlets in, places for people to charge their phones, because I don't know if you've noticed it, but a lot of people are on their phones a lot, and they need to be recharged. You ever been fighting for an outlet at an airport? It's like a bunch of crackheads looking for a place to plug their phone in. It's unbelievable. Justin, David, what would you like to see happen, and what do you think will happen?
Well, we're really excited about the opportunity to help further the progress towards Mesa, downtown Mesa in particular, becoming sort of a node in the valley, an urban node and a center for Mesa to live, work, and play in, but also a place that is accessible by transit to the other great urban nodes of the valley. I think that's strong trend that we see around the country and in the Valley already, and we're excited to be a part of that here.
We see downtown Mesa come alive when we put events on, and the community wants to come support and enjoy their downtown. And with this development and everything new that's coming, you know, it's going to be a vibrant, energetic downtown, morning, noon, and night with new residents, students. It's just going to be hustling and bustling and neat to see, you know.
If you were talking to a bunch of people that weren't Mesa residents or people familiar with, but maybe people around the country, what would you like to tell them about Mesa? Why Mesa? Why should they come spend their vacation here, their entertainment dollars here, or possibly move here? What's the drawing?
Well, the Mesa Arts Center is a tremendous facility, and with the international renown, and we don't take advantage of it enough in the Valley as a whole, would be my opinion. It's a tremendous draw. You've got baseball, you've got athletics, you've got tremendous weather, you've got a very friendly environment to be in, and an opportunity to spend time and be part of a community that's very open.
I like that. Justin, anything you'd like to?
Agreed. All that and more. I think that when you really spend time, start to walk around as someone who didn't really grow up in Mesa, there's this sort of intangible coolness and authenticity to downtown Mesa that's kind of hard to find in a lot of, especially in the Valley. And so I think both for locals and people from around the country, I would encourage people to come spend time and check out what's already going on. The future looks great, but today I think the experience is already surprising and very cool.
Downtown Mesa is a hidden treasure. It's authentic, it has history, and the amenities that are down there are wonderful that people don't realize with the Arts Center, the museums, amphitheater. It's a special place.
Boy, and not to overdo this, but the Mesa Arts Center is such. Has anybody not been to the Mesa Arts Center? Anybody? Wow, you need to go check it out. It is truly world class. There's how many different theaters? Sally, how many different theaters inside there? Like 5 or 6? 4. That was close to 5 or 6. There's any kind of show you could think about will come through down, and you know what? It needs to be used. Go check it out. It's truly beautiful. And we all know about spring training. It's so funny when I'm on the road and I talk about being from Arizona. Everybody's got a little bit of knowledge of Arizona depending on what baseball team they support, you know. And the Cubs and the A's, you know, they're just, I mean, Mesa's home.
Yes, absolutely.
Anybody have? By the way, if you've got a question, maybe raise your hand. I'll call on you. We'll run a microphone out to you. Otherwise, let's turn this into a commercial for why Mesa. Let's.
Exactly.
By the way, what is the population? Does anybody know this? This is open to anybody. What's the population of Mesa?
Nearly 500,000.
Nearly 500,000. Wow. Who's been here the longest? I'm going to guess. Let's go back. Who's anybody a Mesa resident since? Oh, Mr. Rhodes. There you go. How many years? 1946? Well, we may have a winner. And what was the population in Mesa in 1946? About 15 or 16,000, not including your family, because that was a big part of that. 15,000 to almost 500,000 people. So, and there's a reason for that. It's a great place to live, work, and play.
36th largest city in the country.
36th largest. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Larger than Miami, Oakland, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, cities of that size.
Boom, there you go. See, ask and you shall receive. And I'll tell you what, the Mesa Phoenix Gateway Airport, boy, what a great story that is. That's going to continue to bring more people out here. So the trick is they'll bring them in and you guys got to make them want to stay.
We'll do that.
We hope to.
That's great. When you talk about mixed business and you're talking about places to live, you know, everybody's saying that the big McMansions and things like that are maybe going to be a thing of the past. It's only going to be more condensed living, and what do you see going on in downtown Mesa for that?
Well, I think we have a variety of housing. And in our project at the Grid, we have 3 different very specific housing types with market rate apartments, with a micro unit, and with row homes, three-story townhouse type product. So there's a versatility. And in an urban environment, you're seeing smaller size residences, and there are people that are downsizing from the McMansions and becoming very comfortable in a smaller, more urban place that they have access to amenities. They can walk to dinner, they can walk to the theater, they can walk to activities, and they can conduct business. And in our project specifically, we create a neighborhood with retail space, with office space, and a residential piece tied into it. So our project becomes a neighborhood within the urban environment.
Well, I think that downsizing is maybe it's just the age where I am now, but anybody else interested in maybe downsizing and trying to simplify their life a little bit? My wife, yeah, there we go. My wife is wanting to do it. She's looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, no kitchen. Something to look into. Yeah. Something to look at. I have no idea where this is going. Any other questions or comments for these guys? If you were called into a meeting on what would you like to see Mesa evolve into, now's the time to suggest it. We got a lot of brain power up there from here over on this stage. So if anybody's got any, yes. Oh, here we go. She's got $50 to spend.
She's rich.
I'm just wondering if there's any conflict between the contemporary work you're doing and with our first speaker, who's really focused on historical aspects of Mesa, if there's any conflict.
I think the answer is no. There's a blending, and I think some of the things that we're seeing just east of our project on the LDS site is an example of that. The temple and its history and the renovation that's happening there, and then kind of a transition piece with the work that the folks from City Creek are doing in their mixed-use piece to our piece, which is more contemporary and by design, is a blending of what happens. And then we tie into the Benedictine building with the red brick and the history that it brings. So we've begun to bring the historic piece and the more contemporary pieces together and create a fabric in downtown that becomes very interesting and very sustainable.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I think that's one of the things that I know drew us to Mesa is the opportunity to work closely with them, which is not an experience that you find other places. We're rooting for them, I think, as hard as anyone, because I think this is a situation where we're all going to thrive together. So we continue to work closely and make sure that nothing we're doing is detracting from their vision or their efforts down the street.
I do have a quick question here. Here we go.
Thank you. What are micro residences? I haven't heard of those.
It's for very small people.
That's right.
There's a height limit. Not really. They have tall ceilings. A micro resident is really a flat. It's a very urban type of housing option. You'll see it in New York, San Francisco, LA, major cities happening today more and more. Ours are approximately 400 square feet. Bedroom, kitchen, living space, very open, a lot of natural light, very sleek type place.
But it's like a type of apartment, or they have, what are, I mean?
There's this type of apartment.
Type of apartment,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
All right, thanks.
You know what? We got time. Here we go. Mr. Rhodes.
You guys have been talking about properties that are on or near Main Street on the south side.
Correct.
Anything shaken between, say, Mesa Drive and Center on the north side of Main Street?
There is currently an RFP out for master planning, what has been referred to as Site 17, or Mesa and University Drive, which that is prime property to redevelop and will be a great amenity to downtown once it is.
Well, hey, we're running shorter on time than I realized. I do have a little trivia question for the audience. I want you to look at these three distinguished guests. One of them has pitched a no-hitter in baseball. I want you to focus in. You don't have to tell me who you think it is, but in your head. And then will the person that pitched a no-hitter, I don't even know the answer to this, raise your hand. Who threw a no-hitter in baseball? Let me rephrase that question. Who pitched 2 no-hitters? Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, now, Well, yeah, one arm's longer than the other. When and where, and tell us, brag about yourself a little bit, Tony.
High school.
High school?
It was high school. They couldn't hit me.
Now you were in high school.
I was. At the time. No, at the time
Were they
I was
little
actually
leaguers?
25, but I was playing high school.
Yeah, he was 25, but he was pitching in high school. Well, good for you. And where was that? Was that back in the Midwest or
It was
no?
in Amherst, Ohio.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, as a natural tie-in, have you noticed the Diamondbacks lately? Could you maybe pitch for them?
I probably have one inning. One inning, yeah.
Well, that's more than Shelby Miller had.
That's true. My elbow's in better shape than Shelby's.
Wow. The Diamondbacks are in
But there's another baseball trivia.
Okay, here we go.
Justin's dad took part in a triple play in baseball.
I think he was 12, but that's right. But he'll tell you about it if you ask him.
That's right.
I don't know what's weirder, that you knew that or that it actually happened. Well, we've got a distinguished David, any baseball tie-in for you?
I caught a no-hitter.
Did you really?
Yes.
We went to high school together.
Only one, though.
This is, somebody's lying to me here. Well, in all seriousness, guys, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules of building Mesa to come to Mesa Morning Live. We couldn't help but notice that the construction business can be very, very messy, very dirty, and you have 3 dirty cars out there. Right. So Joey McMorris wanted to do something about that. So we have, pass these on down, $100 gift card.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
To go get your car detailed at any of the 19 cobblestone. Do these ever expire? No. Never expire? Hang on until there's 30 of them. We don't care.
Okay.
Then you can have your pick, but go get your car detailed. In all seriousness, are you guys going to hang around for a little bit afterwards? If anybody, this show's almost over, so and then we're going to go drink right here.
Beer over here, right?
I've heard there's beer.
So stick around. If you got any questions for these gentlemen, make sure you ask them. And thanks for all you're doing to make Mesa an even better place to live, play, and work. And pleasure having you on here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, David.
Very much.